Hi, I'm Danny Vaughn. Welcome to a verse-by-verse study through the book of Revelation. Today, chapter 6. But remember, Acts 17:11, do your own homework, especially on this chapter, because here I'm going to disagree with just about every scholar I can think of. Many people, most people, think that this begins the tribulation and that these seals are judgments. I disagree with that. I'll explain why. Do your own study, come to your own conclusions. Verse 1, Then I saw the Lamb open one of the seven seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures say with a voice like thunder, Come! I looked, and there was a white horse. Its rider held a bow. A crown was given to him, and he went out as a conqueror in order to conquer. This can't be Jesus because he's opening the seals. A great many people think this is the Antichrist, but he isn't revealed until chapter 13. When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, Come! Then another horse went out, a fiery red one, and its rider was allowed to take peace from the earth, so that people would slaughter one another. And a large sword was given to him. Check carefully the wording there. He was allowed to take peace from the earth. I fail to see how peace could be taken from present-day earth. You have to have something before it can be taken. But when this was written, the world was going through a period of time called the Pax Romana, which lasted until the year 180. And in China, the Han Dynasty, which was fairly peaceful, lasted until 200, give or take a little bit. Peace could easily have been taken from the earth back then because there was some peace to take. When he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, Come! And I looked, and there was a black horse. Its rider held a set of scales in his hand. Then I heard something like a voice among the four living creatures say, A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius. But do not harm the oil and the wine. It looks as though necessities were rare, but luxuries were plentiful. At least the rich would have no trouble obtaining whatever they wanted. Verse 7, When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, Come! And I looked, and there was a pale green horse. Its rider was named Death. Now, death, according to 1 Corinthians 15:26, is the last enemy. And in Revelation 20, verse 14, we see the end result. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following after him. Hades being the realm now of the evil dead. They were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill by the sword, by famine, by plague, and by the wild animals of the earth. Now notice this is authority to kill, not a definite killing. Therion can be used of microbes, not just wild beasts. These 4 seals, according to my take, recur throughout history. Some guy decides he wants to go out and conquer, a war starts, shortages follow, and death follows. This was the pattern of World War II. This was the pattern of World War I. And as far back in history as you want to go, back to the Pax Romana, this is pretty much the pattern of all major wars. It looks like business as usual for this sad little planet instead of special judgments. It's my opinion, and the statistics are a bit hard to come by. So check these for yourselves. It is my opinion that about 1 in 4 people die from one of these causes. Also, history tells us the Black Plague wiped out perhaps half of Europe back in medieval times. Verse 9, when he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slaughtered because of the word of God and the testimony they had given. I fail to see how this is a judgment on an unbelieving world. And nowhere does the text say that these seals are in fact judgments. They cried out with a loud voice, Lord, the one who is holy and true, how long until you judge those who live on the earth and avenge our blood? If the seals are judgments, this question makes no sense. So they were each given a white robe, and they were told to rest a little while longer until the number would be completed of their fellow servants and their brothers who were going to be killed just as they had been. And again, if the seals are judgments, this answer makes no sense. The answer would be, well, I'm already judging them. But that's not the answer given. Concerning martyrs, there have been many, many martyrs, probably more martyrs in the 20th century than in the rest of history combined. Even many Bible translators were killed simply for translating the scriptures into the language of the common people. If you have not read Fox's Book of Martyrs, you should give that a look. Verse 12, then I saw him open the sixth seal. A violent earthquake occurred. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of hair. The entire moon became like blood. Perhaps a reference to Joel chapter 2, verses 30 and 31. The stars of heaven fell to earth as a fig tree drops its unripe figs when shaken by a high wind. The sky was split apart like a scroll being rolled up. Isaiah 34, starting at verse 1, mentions something very similar, perhaps the same event. And every mountain and island was moved from its place. There was a very large earthquake back in 2015. I think it was a 7.8 in Nepal that actually moved Mount Everest out of its place by 1.2 inches. But this event here has no historical counterpart. All the rest you can find in history, not this one. Then the kings of the earth, the nobles, the generals, the rich, the powerful, and every slave and free person hid in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the mountains and to the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of the one seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, because the great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to stand? Now begins the wrath with the sixth seal. Thanks for watching. Next time, chapter 7.